Hello and welcome to another great episode of Iron Port, the program designed to bring Ghana's ports and maritime industry closer to you. It is proudly brought to you by Ghana Revenue Authority, GOIL, PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link, Meridian Port Services, and Phoenix Insurance. It is powered by Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, and our media partner is the Business and Financial Times. Viewers, this week's episode of Iron Port promises a lot of exciting content, so stick with us. We'll begin with our main subject for the week. Our industry is a very dynamic and universal one, and events that happen in certain areas and regions of the world are able to affect our own local maritime industry. This week we sat with a suitable guest and esteemed friend of the show, maritime consultant and legal practitioner Dr. Emmanuel Kofi Mbia, who assessed trends in today's global maritime industry and make projections for the year. Take a listen.
I would want to come to you straight up and find out what you make of the year 2023. That was last year. Some of the things that you thought took place in the industry that caught your attention, and that's worth sharing with our viewers.
I could start off by looking at world seaborne trade.
Yes.
It's important to go post-pandemic,
right?
Because the pandemic levels brought us very low,
right?
But in 2021, for example, the levels of cargo throughput, world seaborne trade, dropped almost by about 0.4%.
Right.
But by 2022 and 2023, we had seen the green shoots, and there was a rise.
Right.
So by end of 2023, we're talking about 2.4% rise in terms of world seaborne trade.
Right.
World seaborne trade had reached by 2022 an all-time high. After coming down, as I said, in 2022,
yes.
2021, because of the pandemic, it has climbed up to about 11.2 billion tons
right.
of trade all over the world, which was very significant. And the expectation is that in 2024, we are likely to see also an increase, in world seaborne trade. Looking at the major players, UNCTAD, is predicting that we'll have about maybe 2 to 2.4%.
Right.
Clarkson, Drury, Clyde & Co., who all make projections with respect to seaborne trade. They are a little cautious, or cautiously optimistic, that even though there will be growth, in terms of seaborne trade, they do not see anything very remarkable in the coming years. So as far as the international scene is concerned, we see that 2024 is likely to pick up, looking at about 2 to 2.4%.
Right.
When we look at the medium term, that is from around 2024 to 2028, the medium term, we are looking at a growth of between 3 to 4%, over the period, averagely, which indeed is remarkable, unless there is another pandemic.
Right.
But if there is no pandemic, then that is fine. And then you need to look at the order book, and see are there new orders? The demand for ships.
Yes.
Are there new orders? If you take oil tankers, for example, coming on the back of the gold standard, the expectation was that July 2023 would have, but the pandemic set us back.
Right.
And consequently, there were not many deliveries. So there's been a slowdown, as it were, in terms of tonnage and capacity. Yeah. So there will be a shrinkage, as it were. So that kind of contraction would also affect freight rates. It would also affect shipping services generally, because I've told you that the supply and demand of shipping services has a bearing, because of the capacity that is out there in the market.
Right.
So charter rates will be affected as a result. So these are things that you need to have in mind to get your outlook in a position that a forecast that relates to reality. I also mentioned that quite apart from the order book and the shrinkage in terms of the order of tonnage, you would also have to look at the geopolitical dimensions. the geopolitical dimensions. First, the pandemic came, then Russia, Ukraine, and now Israel, Hamas, and the Red Sea and the Houthi rebels, and what is happening now affecting global trade.
Yes.
So, even though the United States of America, Europe, they have put in place a mechanism to ensure that vessels are shepherded. Big companies like CMA, CGM, Maersk Line, they've taken a decision that, look, they will go around the Cape of Good Hope. It's very clear to you the distance that you have to cover if you do not have to use the Suez Canal and the Red Sea.
Right.
Because from Europe to Asia and Asia to Europe, that you can see over there the Suez Canal.
Yes.
That is in the middle. The yellow which you see in the middle.
Yes.
So you find from Europe going to Singapore, you find the route is short. If you don't make that route, then you are going to add about 3,500 nautical miles. Which will be a steaming time of around 10 to 12 additional days.
Right.
So you will be making about 36 to 38 days, for a journey that you would have used about 24 to 26 days. You're making about 36 to 38 days. The fuel alone, another cost to be about 1.6 million pounds.
Wow.
So it is quite clear that coming this way and going around the Cape of Good Hope, indeed has a bearing on the outlook of shipping going forward. So this particular geopolitical thing is important for us in trying to understand, what is likely to happen if this persists.
Right.
Already, as I said, Maersk Line, CMA, CGM, they have opted to go around the Cape of Good Hope.
Yes.
Remember that when that happens, immediately it has consequences for insurance. It means that your insurance
premiums will go
up. It's also important to bear in mind freight rates are likely to go up.
Yes.
And in this era of just-in-time concept, when time is of essence for the delivery of particular raw materials and finished products, it becomes imperative that you look at your timing.
Right.
So if you are adding an additional 12 days, sometimes 14 days, to your steaming time, it has an impact on the global supply chain and the supply networks. Then also, in terms of looking at the outlook, one also would need to look at the regulatory framework.
Right.
What kind of international regulation is in place?
Right.
And we've been talking about climate change. We've been talking about digitalization.
Yes.
First, climate change, decarbonization. The targets to reach by 2030 means that there is a lot for ship owners, shipping lines to do. And consequently, it has a bearing also because there is a cost element. So when we talk about the green transition, I think it's always important to add the green and just transition. I like to put the just transition. Just because, we from the developing economies, we are at the receiving end, of these measures.
Yes.
And consequently, there is a cost to it. That cost is likely to come back to us.
Right.
So, in terms of the climate change, decarbonization, it also has an effect in terms of the outlook.
Right.
Then apart from the climate change, digitalization, I think your footage showed clearly what we referred to, that by 1st January 2024, all ports in the world, mandatorily should adopt single window systems, and even though we have ICOMs, and therefore we have single window systems, you need to look at this from the perspective of the port, and then also from the perspective of cargo. And then eventually, if there is a need to, as it were, merge these two to synchronize and make them seamless, then it works much, much better. So, in effect, you will see that all of these things have an impact. Looking into 2024, what this would mean, for global trade, what it would mean for world seaborne trade, what we are likely, to come by in that regard.
Right.
If you look at the projections, therefore, while we are positive, and as I said, if you take Clarkson, Clyde and Co., etc., for them, they are cautiously optimistic.
Okay.
Going forward, I think that because we have come out of a pandemic, we have come up in 2022, 2023.
Yes.
There is likely by the end of 2024 for us to see an improvement.
Right.
So an increase of about 2%.
Right.
For 2024 is a likely figure.
Okay.
So you just heard from veteran maritime expert Dr. Emmanuel Kofi Mbia on what we are likely to see this year in the global maritime industry. Now let us hear from you on your comments on the subject we discussed after we go on a quick break, and then we'll be back with more news. Stay tuned.
Hello, Iron Pod. My name is Vera from Nungwa. With the vessels choosing to pass to the Southern Cape, this means we'll pay more for our freight. This is sad, Dr. India. We're already suffering from the cost of shipping even as things were. Where do we go from here? Hello, Vera. This is Dr. India's response.
Yes, she's quite right. As I said, the impact of the disruptions in the Red Sea, are not direct as far as Ghana is concerned.
Right.
If you look at the map which I showed to you,
yes,
it's quite clear that from Europe, instead of going through the Suez Canal, middle and cuts the journey short,
yes,
they have to come around the Cape of Good Hope.
Yes.
But the point is that this is not cargoes that are coming to Ghana.
Right.
Essentially, this is Europe, Asia.
Right.
That is the nature of the trade. However, there is always an indirect impact. There is an indirect impact because, remember, raw materials are moving, manufacturing is taking place, there is just-in-time concepts.
Yes.
And consequently, we who get goods also from Europe,
right,
there is also a likelihood that these will escalate in terms of freight rates,
right,
which freight rates have cascaded as a result of the problem in the Red Sea.
Right.
So it has an indirect impact as far as Ghana is concerned.
Hi, I'm Maxwell in Kumasi. We cannot develop a good maritime industry without a good rail. The efficiency of the local supply chain hinges on this. The next government must treat rail as an emergency and put everything into it. Hello, Maxwell. This is Dr. Imbia's response.
Yes, he's very right. Our performance, when it comes to the Logistics Performance Index,
yes,
LPI, has not been too good over the years. We have hovered sometimes around, out of 139 countries, we've hovered around 79, 80, thereabouts, which is not too good.
Yes.
We are only better than Nigeria.
Right.
But out of a mark of about 5, we are around 2.2. So the point he makes is relevant.
Guys, now I'm tired. I'll go on a date with whoever gets here first.
Princess, really? Okay, I dey come.
Shut up!
Mame, boss, fill my tank with Super XP Ron 95.
Fill up with Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP high performance products from Goyle.
Sorry, Tony got here first, so I'm stepping with him.
Oh, cut him. Hey, go for mommy.
Choose Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP for an energizing driving experience. Always go for Goyle Super XP Ron 95. Goyle, good energy.
Goyle is good energy. Electricity, then pay your taxes. Yeah. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. you still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse, and my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance motor policy. Currently, my goods are on the IC covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance.
Oh, Ajima,
tell him more.
As a road contractor, I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance for the projects and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Business and life can be like the sea sometimes. Sometimes serene, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, and at times it brings the unexpected. However it is like, trust Phoenix Insurance for your home, car, business, and marine insurance needs. Call 0302 246 319 or 0243 690 492.
At Phoenix, you experience a delightful service delivered with wisdom.
Welcome back, viewers. Now let us move on to other local news and activities in Ghana's ports and maritime sector. This includes the christening of a new vessel that was named after the port of Tema last week. Plans are far advanced for the rollout of the Maritime Single Window Program, intended to facilitate vessel clearance at Ghana's ports. The digital platform will incorporate the activities of shipping lines and regulatory agencies to enable them share information so far as the clearance of vessels at the port is concerned. This is in line with international maritime organizations and next to the Facilitation Convention, which makes the single window for data exchange mandatory in ports around the world. Ahead of the proposed phased implementation of the Maritime Single Window in April, the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority has led a series of engagements for the parties involved to help them understand how the platform works and prepare for its rollout. This includes the various shipping agents, Customs, Port Health, Ghana Maritime Authority, Ghana Immigration Service, Narcotics Control Commission, among others. The corporate IT manager at GPHA, Francis Donkoff, highlighted the service offerings of this platform, which is distinct from the integrated customs management system used for cargo clearance.
Maritime Single Window really is about the vessel clearance, It's not focusing on cargo, which the other single window actually focus on. This is about vessel. I want that before the vessel comes to our waters, it ought to be cleared. Before the vessel even docks on our ports, it ought to be cleared. Before we even start working the vessel, that vessel has to be cleared by certain authorities. So we are building a platform, that will enable all the stakeholders, be it the shipping agents, the regulatory authorities, to share information and share files, and that really is going to facilitate this whole trade that we have in Ghana here.
Representatives of the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority and Ghana Maritime Authority indicated their preparedness ahead of the implementation of the vessel clearance system.
The turnaround time of vessels is crucial. to trade facilitation. And therefore, if IMO is pushing any of such initiatives to enhance early clearance of vessels or smooth clearance of vessels, customs is more than ready. In fact, we are happy because it makes our work easier.
With the coming on of the single window system, Ghana Maritime is very excited because the International Maritime Organization has approved this and it is working already from January 2024. And as Ghana Maritime Authority is the government agency that represents the country at such meetings, we will be very much excited to tell the story of Ghana, that we are also ready and applying the maritime single window in our vessel clearance.
The Grimaldi Group, one of the largest shipping passenger transport operators in Northern Europe and the Mediterranean, has christened one of its largest vessels in the new G5 class of Ro-Ro multi-purpose ships after the port of Tema. At an impressive ceremony at the port of Tema to christen the vessel MV Great Tema, the managing director of Grimaldi Ghana, Walter Assetti, said the company has been an active stakeholder in the shipping industry in Ghana for the past 40 years.
The arrival of Great Tema is a celebration of the port, the Tema community, and the whole nation. It's a symbol of hope and a source of inspiration, and a reminder of greatness of Ghana. Together, we are setting sail toward a horizon filled with opportunity, growth, and shared success. Thank you for being part of this historic day. Welcome, Great Tema, to your home.
A representative of the Grimaldi ship owners, Giuseppe Patani, explained the rationale for naming the vessel after the port of Tema.
So the choice of naming this ship the Great Tema is a clear sign of confidence and also appreciation of this association between the Grimaldi Group and the port of Tema. Actually, we believe that it's fitting perfectly that such a fine ship is named after such a fine port. Also because the port of Tema, from now on, will be one of the main homes of this ship in future.
The Italian ambassador to Ghana, Daniela Dolandi, disclosed that the volume of bilateral trade between Ghana and Italy reached almost 700 million euros in the year 2023, adding that there is the need for more opportunities and growth.
And Great Tema vessel is in fact named after the biggest port of Ghana, which is also a strategic gateway to West Africa. I wish to warmly congratulate the Grimaldi Group for its achievements, and I look forward to an ever-growing collaboration between Italy and Ghana, which will bring more and more opportunities of prosperity and growth.
The Director General of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Michael Lugoje, lauded the Grimaldi Group for their collaboration with Ghana's ports and assured them of their dedication to nurture the relationship they have established in order to create more enabling opportunities like this in the future.
But I'm happy that this vessel didn't come here empty. It came with cargo meant for Ghana, which means that majority of shippers in this country and traders still believe in Ghana's ports, and they have Ghana's ports as their choice of destination. That is why this vessel loaded Ghana-bound cargo with discharge in our ports. We are grateful to these customers, and we are grateful, of course, to the Grimaldi Group for all these years and for naming the ship after Tema and choosing our company because we.
He said, Ghana has the leading container terminal in West and Central Africa and the leading dry bulk terminal, revealing that a new oil and gas services terminal will be commissioned by the end of 2024 at the port of Takoradi.
For us at the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, our role within the economy of Ghana is to provide enabling infrastructure and systems that will make Ghana the best destination for trade. I think we've played this role quite well, and if I may just draw your attention to the fact that today, apart from Ghana's history as the star of Africa, the black star of Africa, Tema is also the center of the world. So naturally, we have a leading role by birth and by geography. And we haven't forgotten that our governments have supported the Ports Authority to position Ghana's ports in this light.
A Deputy Minister for Transport, Frederick Obengadom, stated that government is keen on improving port infrastructure in order to facilitate port businesses and operations.
This is evidenced by the policy interventions
programs and projects being implemented by the government to bring efficiency, thereby reducing the general cost of business at our ports. Government sees the private sector players in the ports and shipping value chain as partners for national development.
He averred that government is committed to achieve the green shipping agenda.
Government, and for that matter, the ministry is committed and indeed has been implementing policies and programs towards achieving the green shipping agenda. Indeed, in 2023, Ghana was privileged to host the IMO Green Shipping Conference and also actively participated in the COP28 in Dubai, UAE. I want to use this opportunity to commend Grimaldi Group and your partners for your efforts, not only at bringing the state-of-the-art vessel to Ghana, but by so doing, attracting port investment and businesses to Ghana ports through your network.
A one-of-a-kind passenger cruise ship, MV World Odyssey, has visited Ghana's ports, carrying close to 500 students from around the world. The Bahamas-flagged 175-meter-long vessel serves as a floating university campus for undergraduate and postgraduate students, allowing them to travel the world while earning academic credit. The last port of call was Cape Town, before spending 3 days in Tema and Takoradi respectively. It is en route to Tanger Med in Morocco. It is the 6th ever ship under Semester at Sea, a program run by the Institute for Shipboard Education and Association with Colorado State University in the USA. Semester at Sea offers a variety of academic programs, including courses in liberal arts, environmental studies, international business, and more. In addition to academics, students also engage in various extracurricular activities and cultural immersion experiences while on board the ship. These may include field trips, guest lectures, community service projects, and cultural exchanges with locals at port stops. The captain of the ship, Jan Christensen, the executive dean for the Semester at Sea program, Marty Fessenden, and a few students told Iron Port more about this unique academic experience.
Yeah, this vessel is very special. Like I said, it's the only vessel existing like this in the world. The biggest difference, of course, is that we stay very long in the port stays. So mostly we stay up to 6 days in the different countries, exactly like you said, to balance here also the educational part of the program, so that the students have enough time to explore the different countries, the different cultures, and also to meet, of course, the local population of the countries. That is the idea behind Semester at Sea, to explore the world with our students.
All of these students will tell you that they interact with students from around the globe. Another thing I think it's important to know about this program is, as we sail from different countries, we bring on a university student from that country. And so we just sailed from Cape Town to Ghana, and on the ship with us was a student from Ghana, a college student from Ghana, University of Legon. And she spent the week in different classes talking with these students and interacting with our faculty.
I think Semester at Sea in general, and especially global studies, is designed to provide students with a more global perspective. And I think that course provides enough background information that students can feel comfortable engaging in the port countries that we're visiting.
I've really enjoyed experiencing each country's unique culture and comparing the similarities and differences.
Benjamin Amu touched on why Oma Ghana has gained prominence in providing ship agency and husbandry services for the barge cruise sector in Ghana.
Larry, is the experience, the touch of that hospitality that we give the ship, even the students. Some of them always said, oh, Oma is the agent, as if they've been touring or, with the ships or the passenger ships. That is why we are unique. Oma always want to do their best and give you the best. This particular vessel, MV World Odyssey, will surely come back in October. We are just praying that they come, because we want more of these passenger vessels to visit our country. Ghana is beautiful, and we want them to come and experience our culture.
The Ghana Armed Forces has embarked on a maritime expedition to the geographic center of the world, where the Greenwich Meridian meets the equator. The exercise that started on Monday, March 18, 2024, ended on Friday, March 22, 2024 in the maritime waters around the Western Naval Command. Dubbed Exercise Sea Lion, this Navy-led exercise was to test the endurance and combat readiness of selected Ghana Navy ships. The exercise, which was assisted by the US Navy, also trained personnel in fleet maneuvers, test the interoperability of the three services of the armed forces, improve counter-terrorism operations, among others. Ahead of the exercise, a flagging off ceremony to set the ships off took place at the port of Tema in the presence of the new Chief of Defense Staff, Lieutenant General Thomas Opon-Prapra, and the U.S. Ambassador to Ghana, Virginia Evelyn Palmer. The Chief of Defense Staff, Lieutenant General Thomas Opon-Prapra, said exercises of this nature are key in building the capacity of the Navy against emerging maritime threats.
The joint nature of the exercise will help build interoperability for future operations. Contemporary security threats such as piracy and terrorism in the West African sub-region require a very capable and robust personnel well trained and equipped to deal with them.
The flag officer commanding the Eastern Naval Command, Commodore Maxwell Ahin, highlighted the tourism component of this exercise.
The Ghana Navy considers this important point or location as a strategic area where the Ghana Tourism Authority could leverage to boost global tourism. For example, in 2019, the Ghana Navy collaborated with the Ghana Tourism Authority under the theme Year of Return, and it was a huge success.
Let us now take our lenses to the global stage and pick a few international shipping and maritime related news.
The Maritime and Port Authority of Singapore and the Port of Southampton have agreed to collaborate on green and digital shipping. On March 17, the port authorities met and discussed various areas of potential cooperation regarding sustainable maritime transport. The discussions were in the context of the UK-Singapore Green Economy Framework. Both sides agreed that cooperation between like-minded stakeholders across the maritime and port ecosystems of the United Kingdom and Singapore would be important to support the decarbonization, digitalization, and growth of the maritime industry. The partners also noted that the meeting paves the way for further discussions on green and digital shipping cooperation between Singapore and Southampton. As countries embrace tools and efforts aimed at slashing methane emissions, a new analysis from the International Energy Agency has hammered home the need for more action on this front, since the full implementation of current pledges is not sufficient to bring forth the required emission reductions by 2030 in line with the Paris Agreement goals. Curbing the fossil fuel industry's methane footprint by 75% this decade is expected to cost about $170 billion based on IEA's calculations. This spending for methane cuts is perceived to be less than 5% of the income generated by the industry in 2023. Even though methane emissions from the energy sector remained near a record high last year, the IEA's Global Methane Tracker 2024 report shows that they could soon decrease thanks to the announced policies and regulations, as well as pledges made at the COP28 Climate Summit in Dubai.
Now to our Word of the Day segment, where we introduce words, phrases, jargons, terminologies and abbreviations that we often use in the maritime industry so you can get familiar with them. Today we will tell you what we mean by primage.
Primage refers to a charge paid by shippers to ship agents for services provided by the agent in Turkish and Greek ports, generally for loading activities conducted by port stevedores.
It is time for us to take a look at the schedule of vessels that have berth in the ports of Tema and Takoradi and at the anchorages of both ports, as well as those expected in the coming weeks, plus the Bank of Ghana exchange rates, which you may need to know to clear your cargo with. This is where we close the curtain on today's edition of Iron Pot. We hope you've been informed and educated. Remember, all Iron Pot content can be found on our YouTube channel, Iron Pot. Subscribe, like, and share our videos. Thank you for watching.